Well, hello and welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Where are we? That's what you're wondering. Well, we're just dropping down from Armu Village. That is the blue Mediterranean Sea in the very distance. So that means we're looking down on the spectacular resort town of downtown Paphos. If you're looking for a special place to come for a spectacular holiday, Paphos should be at the very top of your list. And if you want to learn your way around Paphos town centre, and in and around the villages and the area and the district of Paphos, well, this could be that channel for you. Marika and me. We also have a website called marikaandme.com. You can go and have a look at that. That'll show you some of the videos that we've done in and around Paphos. It'll give you a little bit of information on myself and Marika, and of course there's a little gallery area where you can upload little pictures of yourselves or family members, your cat, your dog, or even your car. And they don't have to be in downtown Paphos, they can be snaps from anywhere in the world. So sit back and relax. This is Mr. Paul, and you are in Mr. Paul's Breakfast Club. And it's a spectacular day in Paphos, that is for sure. That sky, it's blue. That sea, it's blue. Mr. Paul, he's dressed head to toe in blue. So all that's actually missing is you. Get yourself on a big bird or a canoe and start paddling like crazy, because I promise you Paphos is quite simply waiting for you. There's many superstars in Paphos as we speak. Lady so sweet Lady Caroline, she's in town, and that means the one and only Lord Nigel Big Guns is in town as well. We're going to capture them on camera, that's for sure, very soon. Every single week there's someone coming to town, and it's going to get busier and busier, and one of these days it'll be a crescendo of Miss Oching Booth and all of our superstar family members chuchka dancing down the downtown Kato Paphos promenade. Where are we now? This is Konya Village, and look at that for a spectacular view. It's a little bit chopsy, as you know, if you've been watching the weather forecast. The weather is slightly turned for the worst, but you know, it's not too bad. We've had the odd shower, and more than anything we're having chopsy-mopsy weather at the coastline. Normally I say that the blue Mediterranean Sea likes to lick and lap at the coastline of downtown Paphos. Over the last couple of days, to be honest, well, it's been doing a little bit more than licking and lapping. It's been battering the living daylights out of the coastline of Paphos. But to be fair, the weather is not too bad. It's not that cold. You know, if your name is Miss Dawn, you've got a husband called Mr. Sean, a cat called Miss Daisy, and a dog called Bobo. If you're curious to know what the actual temperature today is at midday, well, it's around about 14 degrees. So it's a little bit chilly by Cyprus standards, but of course, if you are up in the Peak District, perhaps it doesn't sound too bad. And one thing's for sure, you can see that the sun is shining. So this is the main road through Armu and Konya Village, and it's the main road that's going to link us to the downtown Limassol roundabouts. So yeah, you heard me correctly. The roundabout we're going to get to in a couple of minutes will be the main roundabout at the top of Paphos town, and if you take a left you would shoot up that dual carriageway, motorway, highway. People have different names for it, don't they? But it's a dual carriageway, so it's a two-lane highway, motorway, shall we say, all the way straight through to Pasuri, onto Limassol. You can keep going for Nicosia, and of course you can keep going to Larnaca and then Famagusta. So that's the main highway. And well, if your name's Dizzy Blonde and you hang out in downtown Manchester and you're always stuck in traffic on the M62, it's not that kind of highway. To be honest, it can get a little bit congested around lunchtime and tea time in and around Nicosia and in and around Larnaca, but that's about it, to be honest. You know, you don't really get stuck in traffic that often, shall we say. Right, we've dropped through Konya, and we're now rapidly approaching the roundabout in question, which is commonly known as the Limassol roundabout. And at that roundabout we're going to go straight over and we're going to start our descent down to downtown Kato Paphos, which of course is the harbour and the promenade area. And those of you who follow the channel will understand that there's some big improvements and bits and bobs going on in downtown Paphos. There's a lot of big digging, and there's a lot of things going on in the harbour. The promenade is having a bit of well, it had a bit of a theft, and then it had a bit of a renovation. The Gumbarra #1, that's the mayor, Adonis, possibly the greatest man in the world, by the way. He's got some great ideas for Paphos. Comes in for an awful lot of stick. I always say this, but of course any mayor in any important town anywhere in the world will always come in for a lot of stick. A lot of things that, oh, he's doing wrong and he's doing this and he should be doing that. And he probably agrees with you, but the problem is that he's the man that has to push all of these things through. He's the man that has to get the EU money, and he's the man that then has to plan the infrastructure projects. They don't always go as planned, things go wrong, obviously, and when is ever the right time to dig up that bit of road? Well, it never is it? And I've heard many people say that, you know, if only he lived on my street, he wouldn't have dug up my street. Well, the truth of the matter is he dug up the street past his mother's house only a month ago, so that's not true. Unfortunately, the infrastructure has to go in. Whether he lives in it, his daughter lives on it, you live on it, or I live on it, that street's going to get dug up. Simple as that. And if we live in downtown Manchester, downtown Chester, where I'm from, it's exactly the same. Anyway, that's the rant over. He comes in for some stick, but to be honest, he's a pretty good man, a pretty decent man, and I believe one day he will be the president of Cyprus. He intends to run for the head of his party in a few years' time, and that will put him in line, obviously, to be in the running to be president. So perhaps people should befriend him, because he's not only a powerful man now, but as time goes on, he will become even more powerful, that's for sure. I've met him, and I think he's a nice guy. He's a decent guy, and he has a vision for Paphos, and he wants the best for Paphos. A little bit like myself, and a little bit like Marika. We want Paphos to be better, stronger, faster than it ever was before. And we understand most of the viewers are watching because they want to see Paphos develop into a super resort. It's already a very good resort. It's already up there with some of the big boys. It's up there with Tenerife, Lanzarote. Yes, Sally Briars, you traitor that went off to Lanzarote for a holiday. But we'll forgive you, because you're coming back to Paphos in September. And when I was talking to the mayor, by the way, something that came across with him was very interesting. You would assume that he would want people to come to Paphos, which he does. But what he said was that he understands that a lot of people that come to Paphos go to other destinations. And of course, most people understand that, but he was honest enough to admit that to us, and he doesn't have a problem with that. He said, you know, I like people to go to Paphos, I like people to go to Tenerife, I like people to go to Lanzarote, if your name's Sally Briars, obviously. But all I'd ask you to perhaps come back once every 3 to 4 years and retaste what Paphos has to offer. And there's many people who come to Paphos once, twice, 3 times a year. Nick Bishop, I understand this guy comes here 4 or 5 times a year. He has, well, a love relationship with Paphos, a little bit like myself and a little bit like the mayor of Paphos, obviously. But most people will come here once and then go somewhere else, and then they might think, well, you know, Paphos wasn't too bad, let's pop back. So always remember Paphos, that's all we're saying to you. Paphos is a special little place. You will always get a great welcome. You'll always get good food, and you'll always get good service, and most of the time you'll always get good weather. Like I say, the weather at the moment is a little bit chopsy. It's a little bit mopsy, as Marika would say. But compared to most of Northern Europe, to be honest, it's not too bad. What's going on here, eh? Traffic lights. Luckily they're changing to green. Here we go. Let's keep going. Now we're coming up to what I'm going to call the Midtown Roundabout, formerly known as the Debenhams Roundabout. Why was that? Because this was the former Home Centre DIY, and this was the former Debenhams, so hence that roundabout was called the Debenhams Roundabout. But of course times are changing. Well, Debenhams has gone and the Home Centre has moved up the road, so we're going to call this the Midtown Roundabout. The roundabout that hooks up Yeraskipu, which is to the left if you follow that lorry, or if you go to the right, it hooks up Midtown Paphos. But we're going straight down the tree-lined avenue to paradise. And there's a lot of ladies out there that know this road. Oh yeah, the girl in charge of most things on the show called Marika and Me. Her name is Dame Anne, she loves this road because she knows that this road is taking her down to paradise, and very, very soon she will be checking into the Alexander the Great Hotel, possibly the greatest hotel in downtown Paphos. And you want to know something? There's a superstar in Paphos as we speak, and she's checked herself into a certain other hotel which bills itself as the greatest hotel in Paphos. We're not going to say any names, but within an hour of booking in, she understood that, to be honest, she would rather have booked herself into the Alexander the Great. We all make mistakes, but we understand that later on the year, that superstar, the one and only, so sweet Caroline, she'll be back, and she'll be booking herself back in where she belongs. Stavros, that's Alex's horse, will be waiting, and they'll be dancing the chuchuchka on the rear veranda of the Alexander the Great. Miss Maggie, another superstar, she's popping on down in around about June. She's going to book into the Alexander the Great. Ness and Andy from Ness and Andy's Travels. Oh yeah, they've got a YouTube channel. Why not go and have a look? They're often prancing around in downtown Shropshire, prancing around across the border in Wales, and Nessie likes to practice her Borodar and Nostar and all these kind of things. I think that was some of the language I was speaking then. Anyway, I am Welsh, by the way. I can prove it all the way back. My grandparents were a Jones and they were a Jones, and my grandmother even married a Jones. She was a very clever woman. Anyway, right, where are we? We are rapidly approaching downtown Kato Paradise. Now, I warn everyone now on this road, by the way, if you do happen to rent a car, steal a car, borrow a car, or perhaps someone like me even loans you a car, if you're coming around the roads in downtown Paphos, stick to the speed limits. Just travel around at around about 55 to 60 kilometers an hour. You're allowed to go 20% over, by the way, if you're curious. So the inner speed limit is around about 50. So if you stick to 60, you can't get into trouble. The boys in the blue that stand on the side of the road, cigarette in one hand, woolly flip-flop because it's a little bit chilly at the moment, on their feet, and sometimes with a blue puffer jacket on, and a cigarette in one hand and a frappe in the other, and then that speedy gun thing, they won't bother you, and they'll just continue to look sad. But if you speed, oh my goodness, they start to dance, they start to even do the chuchuchka dance. They even start messaging Marika and me saying they've caught somebody, and you will get an on-the-spot fine, by the way, and they're going to zap your credit card. Otherwise, you won't be allowed to leave the country. So drive carefully and drive considerate for everyone else around you, and you can have a great, great holiday. Where are we now? Well, very, very shortly, we are going to be entering the, well, possibly the greatest hotel in Paphos, and it is the Olympic Lagoon. That's what it is right in front of us, the Olympic Lagoon Resort. We have a bit of a love-hate relationship with that hotel, as you understand. Oh, we don't have a problem with it, but sometimes they like us and sometimes they don't. But one of these days, I promise you, we're going to be chuchuchka dancing up in the bell tower with the general manager. So don't forget to come back for that video in a few months' time. I promise you it's going to happen, even if your name is Mr. Paul with a small R. In fact, if you want, you can come and join us. There we are. Downtown Kato Paradise on a truly spectacular day. I don't think it can get much better because the sun is shining and there's people walking along and they're having a great, great holiday. And if you want to get involved with it, why not get yourself on that big bird and start paddling like crazy? This is the Amavi Luxury 5-star Hotel. That's what's coming up on the left. If your name is Joe Cox, you've got a beautiful wife called Miss Julie and a sister called Miss Kath, and she's got a husband called Colin. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you again in next December. So I'm going to say thanks for watching, and if you do like what you see, want to hit the like, click subscribe, and perhaps come back for a little bit more of my madness. And if you want to know how the channel is funded, well, we ask you once or twice perhaps to go through to our about page. There is a little icon called Buy Me a Coffee. That's how it works. You hit the icon, we transfer your money into liquid fuel, benzene or diesel. We pop it in the tank and we continue to drive around making these special videos for you. And if you want a special video made especially for you, again, go through to the Buy Me a Coffee icon. You let us know what you want, and with great pleasure we will make that video for you. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks very much.